In turf farming, generally, since you are removing a slight amount of soil with each harvest, you definitely have to regenerate your soil and continually add amendments, soil amendments, and liming materials. We're in a sand-based soil here where we probably have a foot of sandy loam, so we're not in a true topsoil like some people would be. But that sand is precious to us, and we preserve it as much as we can. But we're constantly having to add organic material to that sand to make it productive. We have leaching problems, we have a lot of rainfall here, and so we tend to use more organic, slow release fertilizers and a lot of biologicals in our soil to keep the microbe populations up and to keep the soil productive. I actually began looking at biologicals and organic materials about 20 years ago, knowing that we had to sustain our land, and the products tend to be overpriced or they didn't work properly. And really in the last 6 to 7 years, we've come across the Medina products, the poultry litter, turkey litter products, and it's really helped us immensely. The cost-wise, it's very affordable, especially on a large operation. We're a 2,000-acre operation, and so it's not like we're treating a home lawn. I mean, we're treating a lot of acres every day, and we use large volumes of material. But it's very cost-effective, even in a large scale, and what you benefit from, the constant rejuvenation of the soil, it's immeasurable. I mean, it really is. It's great. We grow quite a few different varieties of grass. At one time we grew 13 different varieties, but we've gotten it down to about 5 now. But we grow centipede, St. Augustine, palmetto St. Augustine, several types of zoysia, and 419 Bermuda turf grasses for sports fields. And the key to this operation is getting these grasses to turn very rapidly. And we have found that by rejuvenating the soil prior to plant, or pre-planting, and then after each harvest, we're able to turn these crops a whole lot faster. Examples, we've turned zoysia fields, emerald zoysia, one particular 40-acre field we've turned 10 times in 5 years, which is just unheard of in the turf business. A typical centipede crop, we can take it from seed to harvest in 4 to 6 months, which is pretty good, and that's a norm. That's not an extreme. Bermuda, it's very common to get 2 harvestings a year, sometimes a third, and that's not any. We've been doing it so long; those aren't results we got in the past. That's something that we've gotten in the last 4 or 5 years, and what's unique about our situation, we've been on the same land for so many years, and typically a turf farm after 10 years, you tend to start degrading your soils and you start having problems. In our case, we feel like we're actually getting better and more efficient at what we're doing. So we know that the programs we're doing are working. This isn't a one-shot deal. It's not a 1 or 2 year deal. It's something we've been working on for 20 years. And it's really starting to pay dividends now. Our percolation rates are good. They've always been good, and in some cases too good, especially we've just experienced this. We had a 3-year drought. We're out of it now. We've been getting adequate rainfall, but for 3 years during the spring and summer months, we did see a measurable difference in the amount of irrigation we were having to run. We were still running a lot of water, but we were able to cut back. The soil, it held moisture maybe an extra day or two. As far as root systems, a lot of that's just attributable to the slow release organic nitrogen not leaching. It hangs in there, and we'll get extra months of use out of that fertilizer. And we do a lot of the liquid products over the top, and we do foliar feed in addition to the basic pre-plant fertility too. We're not an entire organic farm. We really believe in beginning at that stage, and we will prep our ground like most farmers would, plowing, disking, leveling, getting it well drained. We get our pH adjusted with liming material as we need. We use a good bit of pasteurized or processed poultry litters that are sterile. We put those down at rates anywhere from 800 to 2,000 pounds to the acre. We tend to put our liquid humics or granular humic acids down at that time. And our practice, what we really do is build the soil. It's all about building the soil before you plant. The things we do later just add on, and to me they don't contribute to the regrow the next crop. But what we do in the soil with the lime and the humic acids, poultry litter fertilizers and things like that, it's there, and it's there for that crop. After the crop is up and growing, whether it's a seed crop or a sprig crop, we'll use some synthetic fertilizers. We'll use liquid fertilizers over the top, and a lot of biological agents over the top, or to create biological activity in the soil. Once the product is harvested, we renovate that ground and do the process again. What happens though, and I think where most people miss the boat, is what we did before we planted that crop is what's already got that crop regrowing. So over time we use a little less and a little less. And it's just like a composted garden or something. You're going to use less nutrition over time because it builds up in the soil. That was 419 Bermuda that had been harvested in early fall. The field was really growing back very nicely. We had done our basic protocol program. Everything had been done like we normally would. We had some extra material, and so we took a 4 or 5 acre area of that field and just doubled up on it. And it got a double application of the poultry litter fertilizer. It got a double application of the Medina Plus and some humic acid and some other biostimulants. And it wasn't, and really that should have put it to bed, and that should have been the end of it. But about late November, early December, we noticed that that area of the field was just growing exponentially compared to the rest of the field. I mean, most of the field had shut down for the year. And we actually grew grass all the way through December, really up until the new year. And as you look at the field now, there's a visual difference there. I mean, and we picked up 2 months of growth that we would have just written off and not expected, but that will mean that field will be ready to harvest probably in May or June instead of July or August. So it's significant. Well, and we're cutting off months when nothing should be growing. That is what's really significant because typically you would put it to bed in late October, maybe put some potash on it, let it sit, and then worry about it in March. Well, you've lost those 3 months, 4 months in between, and so it is very significant. And what I'm expecting to see is that in March, when the soil temperature is warm, I'm expecting to see the entire field jump out in color, but I'm expecting that 4 acres to just leave everything else behind. As far as it'll be ready to harvest at least 6 to 8 weeks before the rest of the field. The use of the products on the farm and having a 2,000 acre research facility, which is what I look at the farm sometimes, we try a lot of products. When I see these products work, I inform our customers of the use of the products and how to use them and the rates. And most of them are very accepting. They try it because they know we're using it on the farm. What generally happens is they get a program and they stick with it. It's also given me the ability, and us as a turf farm, the ability to help our customers maintain turf after we make the sale. And they really appreciate that. I think it's helped us a lot with the loyalty of our customers. We're a service-oriented company anyway with everything that we do, and this is just another service we provide. And anything we recommend is going to have an organic-based granular and some type of biological program included in anything that we ask them to do.